The Nerf bat is out, servers are getting triaged, and some free rewards are coming to players that stuck it out through the rocky launch. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, and welcome back to Legacy Gaming and another Outriders video. Today, we're diving in and breaking down some major news regarding the first post-launch patch. So as many of you are aware, this is the first big patch since Outriders launched on April 1st, and while it's only been 7 days, the constant disruptions did prove to be a thorn in the side for players across the world. I'm not going to defend the launch itself, but I will say the team has done a really incredible job keeping the community updated about the issues via Twitter and Reddit, and hopefully this first big patch knocks down a majority of the things that have been plaguing the game. Now, this first major patch is scheduled for next week to give the team a little bit of extra time to tweak some of their fixes. Consoles also make it a bit more difficult to roll out patches at once, so I expect to see this somewhere around April 13th or 14th. The team admits it could be earlier, but as found with other games like Assassin's Creed, releasing a buggy patch is just as bad as releasing no patch at all. Now, as always, I'm going to go over the major headlines here, and if you want the nitty-gritty details, go check out the patch notes for yourself. I'll leave a link below. One of the first big highlights is improved stability when it comes to matchmaking. Crossplay should now be viable and functioning again, which is a huge deal considering how many players were locked to their own platform's community. For many, multiplayer was the only reason why they were playing Outriders, and it looks like all avenues of crossplay will be operational after this first patch. I also want to point out that parties will now default to closed, which I think is great. How many times did you get a random scrub in your expeditions that didn't do jack all? This is a great quality of life move. Another huge fix has to do with that disappearing HUD. Again, this patch is still a week away, so if you're having that issue, check out our video here for a quick fix. Luckily, there was a workaround to this issue, but it was annoying nonetheless. It's hard to put into words how frustrated players were with the crashes, but if you look at the comment section of any YouTube video, I think you'll get the overall gist. A slew of fixes are coming that should alleviate crashes. Issues with quests like a bad day, launch crashes, travel crashes, and overall random crashes should be fixed. The team even states they're confident that these fixes will address a majority of the crashes reported. There were only a few root issues behind these crashes, even though the scale seemed much greater. This does kind of spiral into the server issues, which the team said they were going to address, and here it is. This is the one section I'll say go read the patch notes, because honestly, the technicals are a bit dense for a quick YouTube video. If you're interested in the inner workings of video game servers, you're probably reading the patch notes anyways. Another big fix coming soon, not as part of this patch, is another inventory restoration day. This happened back in the demo after players lost their entire inventories, and it looks like we're going to have another occurrence of that very soon. This time it looks like Legendaries and Epic items will be restored to players that lost them. These will be added to your inventories and will not replace current items. I also want to point out that the restored items may not have the exact same stats as the original items, so rip those god rolls. Alright, now we get to the big stuff, balancing, the word everyone has been anxiously waiting for. The People Can Fly team are taking a hefty swipe at addressing some tuning issues, but whether or not they're good is hard to say at this point. The first change has to do with those repeatable quests, the Historian, Monster Hunt, and Bounty missions. Those will no longer reward Legendaries after completing all 10 activities multiple times. This is a change forced by a multiplayer exploit that was going around, so way to go, YouTubers! You did it again. You ruined it. Players who did this exploit won't be punished, and it looks like you will still get the Legendary the first time you do these quests. So if you want to know more about that, we do have a nice video on the channel outlining all of the guaranteed Legendary opportunities in the game, so check it out. Expeditions are also getting some tuning. Chemplant and Boomtown completion goals are being tightened up, and obviously this is reaction to players trying to only run these two expeditions as they were the easiest to gold tier, thus resulting in more rewards. The change aims to encourage more viability for the other expeditions. A small nerf is happening to a few weapons as well. Tactical assault rifles will have their crit rate multiplier brought down from 175 to 165. A similar nerf will happen to the crit rate multiplier of the marksman rifle, bringing it down from 300% to 250%. Alright, strap yourself in because here's the heavy hitter. Bullet abilities are getting a sizable rework, and this is the one that's going to hurt the most. According to the devs, this is only step 1 in rebalancing these abilities, and they'll be monitoring this very closely after the patch goes live. But here are the highlights. For the Trickster, the base cooldown of Twisted Rounds is going up from 16 seconds to 25 seconds. The Trickster's hero nodes, Disruptive Firepower, Scion of Power, and Outriders Executioner are being nerfed 15%, taking the increase from 50% to 35%. The vulnerable status is also being reduced by 10%. Now, you Technomancers didn't think you were getting away scotch-free, did you? Oh no, here are your highlights. The Techno's hero node, Damage Against Poison, is being reduced by 10%. And the Pyromancer is also not immune to a quick nerf. The Trial of Ashes hero node is having its damage reduced 15%. Ultimately, big nerfs to 3 of the 4 classes in the game. And to be honest, these changes are going to hurt, especially on the Trickster. But before we get all up in arms, we have to see what step 2 is. Making a balance pass is fine, but it's what happens after that I'm really curious to see unfold. Let's end on a high note. The team is putting together a community appreciation package for anyone that played the game between March 31st and April 11th. For those eligible, your highest level character will receive a level appropriate legendary weapon, a level appropriate amount of titanium, and a new frustration emote currently unobtainable in the game. This is a great sign of goodwill, and while it won't win over everyone, it's nice to see developers roll out these types of things quickly. Oftentimes, developers take way too long to respond to issues in their game, and then the gesture just falls flat. But I think we're still well within the window of the team doing everything they can to put players first. Obviously, the patch has to roll out correctly, and implementing more bugs is going to be a big issue, but I think we're taking a step in the right direction. So a lot of changes coming with this first major patch, but all in all, I'd rather see the team take the steps to stabilize the game, then go back for a second pass to see if more balancing needs to happen. I know a lot of you are interested in what comes next, more content, DLC, anything that will extend the life of the game, but we're just not there yet. Let's get through these launch hurdles, and then we can let that Imagination Express leave the station. As always, friends, if you enjoy our Outriders content, we would love your support. Hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing to Legacy Gaming. It's completely free for you, and it really does help us out a ton. You can also join us on Discord. Our community of over 6,000 members is constantly growing. We just passed 500 members for Outriders, so check out that link below and join today. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.